Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Sunday, last day of the NBA season. 15 matchups, super mega slate here. Um, so yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below. If you guys like doing NBA player props, you already know. Go ahead and check out Parlay Play. Get free entries just for signing up. Use them on this huge slate here, and hopefully you get some nice player prop wins. And yeah, we'll hop in it. A lot of games kind of don't matter. Some do for positioning. So I feel like today it's going to be one of those days you're going to have to really check the injury report an hour before tip off, just to make sure teams aren't resting stars. So let's just hope these are accurate and stars aren't out, because that's pretty annoying when it is. So yeah, 15 matchups, a lot of action, starting with the Atlanta Hawks versus the Houston Rockets. Atlanta opening up as road favorites at minus 10.5, with the over-under at 232.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Houston 7-3, 5-5 covering the spread. The over's hitting 5 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see no Lou Williams for Atlanta. No real major injuries here. Atlanta 7-3 in their last 10, coming off a Miami loss. Houston on a 6-game losing streak right now. Atlanta 6-2 covering the spread. Houston just 1-8 at home. Yeah, I don't want any part of this Rockets team. Give me the Hawks money line, and be cautious with that 10.5 point spread. Throw them in a teaser. You already know. Rolling with the Hawks on the road. Next matchup, we have the Indiana Pacers versus the Brooklyn Nets. Nets opening up as 15.5 point home favorites, with the over/under at 232.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Brooklyn 7-3, 5-5 covering the spread. The over's hitting 5 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see Curry is probable for Brooklyn. Pacers on a 9-game losing streak. Brooklyn on a 3-game winning streak right now. Pacers 0-6 against Brooklyn. 1-5 on the road. I mean, this Pacers team is last game of the season. I mean, they really have nothing to play for. A huge spread. Just be cautious with that spread, but definitely rolling with the Nets. Throw them in your parlays and throw that spread in a teaser. Next matchup, we have the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs opening up as 7-point home favorites, with the over/under at 224.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Milwaukee 8-2, 6-4 covering the spread. The over's hitting 4 out of the last 10 matchups. Yeah, so this is one of those games, Milwaukee resting all their starters. No Lopez, no Hill, Middleton, Giannis, Portis, or Grayson Allen. All of them are out. Milwaukee on a 3-game winning streak. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Cleveland on a 3-game losing streak here. Milwaukee resting everybody. Cleveland, I don't believe is. So I'm taking the Cavs. Moneyline -7 on the road. And probably staying away from this game. Do what you want. I just, roll with the Cavs. Could be an easy win versus the Bucks bench. But yeah, rolling with the Cavs at home here. Next matchup, we have the Washington Wizards versus the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets opening up as 11.5 point home favorites, with the over/under at 230.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Charlotte 6-4, 7-3 covering the spread. The over's hitting 3 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see no Caldwell Pope, Porzingis, or Kuzma, and then no Gordon Hayward for Charlotte. Washington on a 2-game losing streak here. Charlotte on a 2-game winning streak here. Washington 1-5 against Charlotte, 2-10 on the road. Yeah, going to be without their some of their starters. As long as Charlotte doesn't rest anybody here, rolling with the Hornets money line and then be cautious with that spread on the road or at home. Next matchup, we have the Boston Celtics versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Boston opening up as 2.5-point road favorites with the over-under at 227.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Boston 9-1, 7-3 covering the spread. The overs hit in 7 out of the last 10 matchups. No major injuries here for either team as of now. Hopefully that doesn't change. Boston 7-3 in their last 10, coming off that Milwaukee loss. Memphis on a back-to-back, coming off a monster 141-114 win against the Pelicans. Boston 11-1 against Memphis, 4-1 covering against Memphis here. Memphis 6-0 covering the spread at home. This one's pretty easy. If Ja Morant and most of their main guys do play coming off a back-to-back, we're taking the Grizzlies at home, plus the points. That'd be too hard to pass up the way they've been playing. But if any of those guys are out, especially Ja Morant, and maybe they rest a couple guys, definitely rolling with the Celtics on the road, so be sure to check that matchup. Next matchup, we have the Detroit Pistons versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers opening up as 13-point home favorites with the over-under at 232.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Philly 8-2, 6-4 covering the spread. The overs hit in 7 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see no Corey Joseph or Marvin Bagley. Cunningham is questionable for Detroit. Detroit on a 2-game losing streak. They did beat Philly a few games ago, 102-94. Philly coming off a nice Pacers win. Detroit 8-0 covering the spread on the road. Philly just 1-7 covering the spread. They can't cover the spread, so staying away from the spread, I think Detroit can definitely cover the 13 points the way Philly's been playing. But I do like Philly at home. Roll them with Philly, throw them in your parlays, and then I would take a shot with Detroit plus 13 on the road here. Next matchup, we have the Miami Heat versus the Orlando Magic. The Heat opening up as 11.5-point road favorites with the over-under at 221.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Miami 8-2, 4-6 covering the spread. The overs hit in 4 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see no Jimmy Butler. That's really the main injury I see here. No Cole Anthony, Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., or Suggs. They're all out for the Magic. Heat on a 6-game winning streak right now. Orlando 3-7 in their last 10. I mean, they've looked awful. Coming off a 27-point loss against Charlotte. Heat 6-0 covering the spread. Yeah, don't trust the Magic here. Rolling with the Heat on the road, and then be cautious with that 11.5-point spread. Next matchup, we have the Toronto Raptors versus the New York Knicks. The Raptors opening up as 5-point road favorites with the over-under at 226.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Toronto 8-2, 7-3 covering the spread. The overs hit in 6 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby are both questionable. A lot of players questionable and out for the Knicks. Toronto 8-2 in their last 10. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Knicks 6-4 in their last 10. Toronto 12-2 against the Knicks, 10-4 covering against the Knicks. They've been pretty dominant against the Knicks here. Knicks just 1-6 covering at home. I simply just don't trust the Knicks here. I'm rolling with the Raptors money line and spread on the road. All right, next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota opening up as 6.5-point home favorites with the over-under at 233.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Minnesota 6-4, 6-4 covering the spread. The overs hit in 8 out of the last 10 matchups. Yeah, I do see no DeRozan, Vooch, Levine, Caruso, White, Thomas. I mean, Chicago's resting everybody. Karl Anthony Towns is out. D'Angelo Russell and Beverly are both questionable. Definitely a matchup to stay away from here. This just is ugly here. A lot of players out. Chicago on a 4-game losing streak. Minnesota coming off a San Antonio win. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Minnesota 1-5 covering the spread. Chicago 1-4 covering the spread. Both teams can't really cover. Staying away from this one here. I'm gonna take a shot with Minnesota. Just too many people out for Chicago, and I don't think everybody's gonna be resting for Minnesota. But who knows? Be sure to check. As long as Anthony Edwards plays and maybe Beverly, a couple of their other guys play in this matchup, I would probably lean Minnesota. But if those guys are out too, simply just stay away from this game. We'll take the Timberwolves here. Next matchup, we have the Golden State Warriors versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Warriors opening up as a 3.5 point road favorite with the over-under at 223.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Golden State 6-4. 5-5 covering the spread. The over's hit in 2 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see Brandon Ingram is questionable. Warriors on a 4-game winning streak right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Pelicans 6-4 in their last 10, coming off that bad Memphis loss. Warriors 4-1 covering in their last 5. 1-4 covering on the road. Pelicans 4-2 covering at home right now. I'm liking the Pelicans plus 3.5. They definitely need to win this game here, and we'll see if Warriors choose to rest anybody. I have no idea. It's going to be tough. This is going to be a day where we would literally have to wait and see, and wait up until tip-off to see if they rest these players. So making early parlays probably is just not going to be the move today. So I'm going to take a shot with the Pelicans plus 3.5. I think they want this game more than the Warriors, so I'll take the Pelicans at home here. Next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Denver Nuggets. Denver opening up as 7.5 point home favorites with the over-under at 231.5. The last 3 head-to-head, Denver 2-1, 2-1 covering the spread. The over's hit in 2 out of the last 3 matchups. No Davis, Westbrook, Anthony, or LeBron. This one, I see Will Barton, Gordon, Jokic, Morris are all questionable, so be sure to check their status. Lakers just 2-8 in their last 10. They did lose to Denver by 11 in their last meeting. Denver 6-4 in their last 10. We're going to see this could be another matchup to stay away from. If Jokic plays and some other guys play, we're taking Denver money line and spread at home. But if they rest everybody again, just stay away from this matchup, honestly. Hopefully that's not the case, and we'll take Denver at home. Next matchup, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers opening up as 10-point home favorites with the over-under at 220.5. The last 10 head-to-head, the Clippers 7-3, 4-6 covering the spread. The over's hit in 3 out of the last 10 matchups. No Paul George, Morris, or Powell for the Clippers. The Thunder 4-6 in their last 10. Clippers on a 4-game winning streak right now, but they're resting everybody. Don't think I can trust the Clippers minus 10 points here, given the fact they're resting all their starters. So with that case, I'm going to take Thunder plus 10. I think they play hard in their last game of the season. Give me Thunder plus 10 on the road. All right, next matchup, we have the Sacramento Kings versus the Phoenix Suns. The Suns opening up as 11.5 point home favorites with the over-under at 234.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Phoenix 6-4, 4-6 covering the spread. The over's hit in 4 out of the last 10 matchups. Do see no Cameron Payne for Phoenix. Hopefully they don't rest everybody. I don't see anything that they will, but you never know. Sacramento on a 3-game losing streak right now. Phoenix 7-3 in their last 10. They did beat Sacramento by 3 points in their last meeting. Sacramento 1-4-1 covering the spread. Phoenix 6-1 at home where they've been getting it done. If Phoenix decides not to rest a lot of their players, as long as Booker and Chris Paul are playing for the most part, and Ayton, hopefully they do. We're going to take the Suns minus 11.5 at home. Next matchup, we have the San Antonio Spurs versus the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs opening up as 9.5-point home favorites with the over-under at 225.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Dallas 8-2, 5-5 covering the spread. The overs hit in 4 out of the last 10 matchups. I do see DeJounte Murray, Vassell, Johnson are all questionable, so is Podol. Mavs do get Luka back because he did get that technical. He's supposed to be suspended, but they took that away, so Luka's good to go. Spurs 7-3 in their last 10. Mavs 8-2 in their last 10 on a 3-game winning streak. I like the Mavs to finish out strong. You already know rolling with the Mavs here. 6-1 covering the spread, 5-0 covering at home. Be cautious of that 9.5-point spread, especially if DeJounte Murray and some of their other guys do return. But nonetheless, rolling with the Mavs at home here. And then the last matchup, we have the Utah Jazz versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Jazz opening up as 19.5-point road favorites with the over-under at 232.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Utah 7-3, 6-4 covering the spread. The overs hit in 5 out of the last 10 matchups. I don't see Utah resting anybody in this match here. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Portland 0-10 on a 10-game losing streak, 0-5 covering the spread. Utah 1-8-1 covering the spread. Yeah, Utah is just horrible at covering the spread. They just have not been able to do it. They should be able to beat this Portland team by 20, if not 30 or 40. I just can't trust the Jazz doing that. With how bad this Blazers roster is, they've had their games, man, where they've covered the huge spreads, and I just don't think you can trust the Jazz here. Maybe they win by 50. I don't want to bet on Jazz covering the spread because they just have not been able to do it. I'm going to take a shot. If I were to bet on this game, which I have zero interest, I'd take a shot on Portland plus 19.5. Maybe get them on an alt line, throw them in a parlay. I bet you can get them plus 25, plus 30, and that should be easy money, hopefully. But yeah, we'll take a shot on the huge points for the Blazers. And that's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays today, guys. Be sure to check the injury reports today. Today, the last day of the season, teams rest everybody, so it's going to be crazy. So do not lock a bet in early. You will definitely regret it, I promise you. So stay alert, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.